Welcome, friends. You are listening to the Mind Body Alchemy podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Miramontes. This is where intuition meets education in the realms of spirituality, fitness, mindset, and more, all to create lasting change. Welcome to the podcast, and thanks so much for being here. Every week, I spend a lot of time coaching my community, and something that comes up a lot is how do we know when to use willpower and discipline and things of that nature? Because of course they do have their place. And I've talked about Pissy Pants decisions on the podcast briefly before, and today I want to talk a little more deeply about what that means, because that is something that does go along the same lines as using willpower. And I imagine that you already have an idea in your head about what a Pissy Pants decision looks like, and you're probably right. In a nutshell, you can make decisions from a place of care, love, and big picture desire, even when you feel really grumpy about it. A Pissy Pants decision is one that you make even though you don't want to. You resist it like a petulant child that doesn't want to go to bed. It makes you feel whiny, bratty, a little bit stompy. Just like when you cleaned your room and did your homework before you were allowed to play with your friends. You didn't want to, but you did it anyway because the payoff mattered to you. And you might be thinking that most of your decisions are Pissy Pants decisions already and that this is a waste of an episode. But stay with me. If you were already good at making Pissy Pants decisions, then you wouldn't be listening to my podcast, at least as it relates to the subjects that we talk about here. Pissy Pants decisions are the kinds of decisions that are much easier to make when somebody is telling you that you have to, and less easy to make when you are a grown-ass adult that can choose to watch another episode of Bridgerton before going to bed, to drive home instead of going to the gym, and plop down in front of the television instead of being present with your food because no one is there to tell you what to do. You might make Pissy Pants decisions at work all the time. You might do it in parenting, relationships, school, or maybe some of your other social obligations. But that is because you're being held accountable for your actions by someone else. Whether that someone writes your paycheck or gets diaper rash if you don't do your job, it's still less about your own personal goals than about the consequences of those actions. When I'm talking about Pissy Pants decisions, I'm talking about you being the boss and the child who might get a diaper rash, the one who stands to benefit or suffer from your decision. Because when you, and only you, are the one who stands to benefit or suffer from your decision, it can be a whole hell of a lot easier to let yourself down in the moment when you don't feel like it. It can be helpful, when thinking about Pissy Pants decisions, to think about a child that doesn't want to do their homework, like I said before. They might complain, whine, cry, and throw an absolute tantrum. And your job is to come in and let them know that you understand why they don't want to do it. And you feel for them. And then you give a list of reasons why they absolutely are going to fucking do it anyway. Because how they feel about it now is not how they will feel about it 10 years from now. Because the Pissy Pants attitude will pass. But the benefit of showing up when you don't want to, that lasts. And it has a profound effect on the rest of your life. I spend a lot of time on this podcast talking about how to change your behavior in ways that avoid having to use endless amounts of willpower, because willpower does not come in endless amounts. Willpower depletes. But just because it depletes doesn't mean it's useless all of the time. Willpower is a strategy to employ intelligently, because it's the energy that you need to override the parts of you that are desperate to stay the same in very specific moments. It's the electric spark behind the energy of a Pissy Pants decision. A Pissy Pants decision is the decision that you make when you don't wanna, but you're gonna do it anyway. The foundation of a Pissy Pants decision is the result that you're hoping to achieve. That's why it's important to know why you want what you want. It's going to seem like these decisions don't matter in the moment. They seem like they could be put off for another day. They seem like they can be done when life just feels easier, when you have more time, when your job changes, when your kids get older, once you graduate. Once you've lost weight or you have a little more money, your excuses will sound just like that. Excuses. You will know deep in your soul that you could do this because you can. Your excuses will sound very dramatic, but not true. You can justify them, but you know better. When members of the unfiltered community start changing their relationship with their bodies so that they can improve their body image, they're challenged to step out of their comfort zones and do some things differently than they've done before. The things that they talk themselves out of because they think it will be emotionally risky to do them, so they avoid. The Unfiltered program goes for 24 weeks, and like everything that I do, most of those weeks are centered around changing the way that you think so that you can change the way that you feel, so that the actions that result from those feelings are sustainable and repeatable and become habits, and they change who you are as an identity. But a few of the weeks have challenges that ask members to do things before the stars align and they're fully confident and ready. Something that may seem to some to be extremely easy is extremely challenging for others. One example of this is throwing out or donating clothes that you've been holding onto for years that no longer fit you. Some of you are probably thinking that that is the easiest thing on the planet, and others are gripping their door shut and making sure that no one can take away their gold clothes. Their brains come up with so many reasons why they should hold on to these clothes, even though most of them are no longer their style, and they wouldn't go into a store and buy them today for any reason. So they have this internal meltdown about doing this because it seems too hard. It seems like if they do this thing, they've given up somehow. They've admitted defeat. Even though the benefit is enormous. Walking into your closet every day and only seeing clothes that fit you right now, comfortably, and are in your own style can have a massive impact on the rest of your day and your attitude. But they resist, and so they have to make a pissy pants decision just to clear out the damn closet. Another example is to wear something that you really want to wear but haven't given yourself permission to wear yet. You might look in the mirror in a bright color or a pattern that's considered unflattering, and everything in you will say, go change, put something reasonable on, don't you dare go out like that. And because we usually wait until we feel confident and certain that we will be emotionally safe before we try things, it's in our nature to push it away. This is where you have to invite willpower to help you overcome the resistance to leave the house dressed in something that you like but feel unworthy of wearing. The inside of your brain sounds a lot like if your dad was fixing your hair for school because maybe your mom had to leave for work early and all of your friends are going to see and make fun of you because you have crooked little piggy tails and mismatched hair ties. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. But they stumble away anyway and go and do what they need to do. And they always feel amazing once it's done. In the Unstuffed group, where we work on habits that are required to help improve your relationship with food, lose weight, and change your mindset and relationship with that food, a pissy pants decision is the one where you eat undistracted even though you've had long days at work and you're tired. And all you want to do is put your feet up and eat in front of the television. Your inner rebel pops up and says no one can tell you what to do. You are the one who has to come in and tell yourself what to do, even though you don't want to. Most of the time, my members are used to thought work to change their attitude about eating in front of the television, and they'll use practice to find out why it's so beneficial to eat undistracted. But every now and then, the urge to go back to old habits, mentally check out, skip workouts, deprioritize sleep, or raid the snack drawer shows up with a vengeance, and thought work seems impossible. So they need to make a pissy pants decision and sit their ass in a chair at the table and eat their food while telling themselves they'll be so much happier that they paid attention and they can watch TV when they're done. In reality, it's not a difficult thing to do, but emotionally, it feels hard. Sometimes a member of our community will come up against an emotional obstacle that they keep repeating and they can't quite find the reason why they keep sabotaging themselves. The old, I know what to do, but I'm just not doing it kind of thing. And they keep waiting to take action until they know the answer to that question. They keep waiting for the right thought work that will help them not have to suffer the discomfort of not doing the thing that is getting in their way. They want it to be easy, and sometimes that works. But when it's not working, making a pissy pants decision can help them figure out what the block is by using willpower intelligently to override the urge to repeat the behavior. And here's where it gets tricky, because when people use willpower on diets, they use the willpower to overcome the behavior, and then they shut their brain off. They go and distract or do something else, or they sit there and suffer. And what I ask them to do is to be present. Listen in. Listen to the thinking that they have about why it's going to be too hard or too uncomfortable or impossible to do this thing. Often when we use willpower, we don't take advantage of the other side of the willpower. We only use willpower to make a decision, and then we shut it all off and learn nothing. So when willpower runs out, we're back to the same old behavior because we didn't listen, we didn't wait, we weren't present. But if we use willpower to make a different decision, and then we allow the thoughts to come instead of shutting them off, then we get to discover what is driving that decision in the first place, and we have new tools to begin to change it. That's where we find the correct thought work for these very challenging obstacles. This happened to me today. I have a ton to get done before the weekend, and I was noting what I wanted to teach you on the podcast. My brain, as it always does, began to go through a list of everything I needed to do in order to be successful. On that list was my usual workout, and I love getting exercise. I love to lift weights. I love to practice lifting weights so that I can get better at lifting weights. I don't just love the way exercise makes me feel when I'm done, although that's part of it. And I don't just do it for health benefits or physical change, although those matter to me too. I lift weights because I very much enjoy the process, the action of lifting them, getting better at lifting as a skill. Usually, getting me to go and do a workout is not hard. It's who I am. But today, it felt like one more thing on the list. I had already done so much, and I had so much to do. So I had a decision to make. I could justify skipping. It is, after all, the first day of my cycle. I'm hormonal and tired. But workouts make this time of the month easier on me. The movement helps reduce my pain. So I took my pissy pants self out to my gym, and I did my workout anyway. I modified it so that it was easier on me, but I did it. And as you would suspect, I'm thrilled with that decision. One of the most important things you need to know about pissy pants decisions is that when your brain says, I don't want to, you step in and ask yourself a very important question. Are you ready? Write this down. Do I have to want to in order to get it done? I bet the answer is no, because what you want in the moment isn't always what you want for yourself long term. In fact, it rarely is. Learning to hold yourself accountable takes practice, and there's no better way to do that than in a community that's working toward the same goal. So find your people. And if you need some help and you would like to learn more about the Unstuffed or the Unfiltered program, be sure to jump on the waitlist for when the doors open again, and we will let you know when that is happening. Those who are on the email list are the first to know. The best way to do this, to make sure that you know when the doors are open and get some helpful information that you can work on today, like right this minute, is to take the diet personality type quiz. You'll find your diet personality type, which is fun, get your results, and then we'll send you some very helpful information to help you take that first step, but we don't leave you hanging. We'll continue to send you only the most useful information to keep you going. If that sounds like a win to you, make sure that you check out that link in the show notes and make your first pissy pants decision. Get started. If you love this episode, do the cool thing and leave me a rating and review. It helps me so much more than you know. Send it to your friends that would benefit from this message. Screenshot the episode and share it on social media, and please tag me. All of that information is in the show notes, and I would love to come and thank you for sharing my work. And lastly, if you would like to find out how we can work together one-on-one, that link is in the show notes as well. Drop into my inbox with any thoughts you have on this episode, ideas for future episodes, or just to say hello. It's always open for you. Bye.